Hello and welcome to the podcast. I am Louise Proven. I'm a coach. I work out of Irvin's Peak Performance Gym as a one-to-one personal trainer, and I'm also an online coach. And this is my client Tanya. We've been working together since last October, and the reason that we decided to come on today and use this platform was that back in April of 2024, Tanya, before we worked together, not that really matters, but it was before we worked together, Tanya suffered a ruptured brain aneurysm on the gym floor. And obviously, since we've been working together, we have had probably hundreds of conversations about what happened to you. And we both kind of decided that this would be a really good platform for you to like share your story, like get that out there. Obviously, maybe find other people that that's happened to, or maybe somebody who knows somebody it's happened to, or even just to give you a platform to speak about it and raise awareness of it, essentially.
100%. Yeah.
So I'm just going to kind of throw it back onto you, and then if you just want to talk through what happened back in April.
So it was the 8th of April, and it was just like a regular Monday for me. I was meant to be teaching, so I do dance teaching on a Monday evening, and so I decided, right, I'm going to go to the gym in the morning and then I'll go and do work later. So I was meant to have a PT session, but she actually cancelled on me. So it was really...
she's like thanking her lucky stars.
Yeah, literally. So it was weird for me to just be like, oh, I'm going to go anyway, but I was like, I'll just go. So I went, literally felt fine, like went in, done 5 minutes on treadmill, done a wee warm-up, went on to leg press, literally fine, done 3 sets, and then went on to the RDLs. So my first set, totally fine, and then second set, it was actually my last rep. I just felt like an overwhelming feeling of like pressure. It wasn't pain, it was just pressure in my head. And me being me, I'm like, oh my God, this is so embarrassing. Like I feel like I'm going to faint. So I just squatted down, and then that was it. I just blacked out. And then the next thing I remember is I woke up and literally all the gym staff around me, paramedics are around me, and I'm just kind of rolling about, not really sure what's happened. I had this girl, she was amazing, I can't remember her name, but she was brilliant, and she was holding my hand, and all I remember her saying was like, Tanya, if you can hear us, just squeeze my hand. So I'm like, I'm squeezing, like I don't know what's going on, but I can hear you. Still again though, I'm like, this is pure embarrassing. I'm in the middle of the gym. This has just happened. So they wheeled me out and took me into the ambulance, and I kind of started to come back around. I could speak, and they phoned my mum, and they were like, we think she's okay. We're just going to take her to the hospital, do some tests, just kind of find out what's happening. So that was fine, and then I blacked out again, and I was taken to Haymeyers, where they did a scan, and my dad and my boyfriend, they came through to meet me at the hospital, and they took them both into a room, and they were like, we're really sorry, she's had a brain hemorrhage. And you can imagine them both just like no idea what to do. My dad was like, oh, like, is she going to live? And they were like, we don't know what's going to happen. So journalists, I don't really have many memories of that day. I just kind of have like wee flashbacks. So like I just remember being in like the worst pain you can imagine, like a headache, but it was like times a million, like literally times a million, so sore. And I remember just saying to the doctors, like, I do not care what it is you need to do, but just get rid of this pain. So they decided that they were going to do, I think it's called microsurgery. So they went in from my wrist and then all the way up into my brain. So they were going to coil the aneurysm. When they found out that I'd had this brain aneurysm, I was in Haymeyers, so then they decided to take me to Queen Elizabeth. So my dad came with me in the ambulance, and there was 2 paramedics. There was one who, it it was our first day, and there was the other one who was like super experienced, and obviously the super experienced one was going to be in the back with me just to kind of check everything was all right, and my dad was sitting in there in the back with me, and then this girl, bless her, first day, and they're driving, and she got lost. And my dad's in the back, like, oh my God, like, just get us to
I mean, I'm laughing,
hospital.
but if I was your dad,
Oh my God. And then he was saying that the experienced paramedic, she was like trying to direct her, but also trying to, you know, like help me, because at this point, I don't remember it, but like, apparently I was just like in like this pain, like just... yeah, awful. So, yeah, that happened. Obviously, you can imagine the absolute stress.
It's like a carry-on film in the
Oh
back.
my God, I know.
You're just out there, like...
Oh, bless her. She must have been so stressed. But, yeah, that happened, and that was...
And that was them
just...
on the way to take you to have the surgery?
Yeah.
So it was obviously, like, a rush job, like,
yeah.
get her to the surgery, get her to this hospital.
Yeah. And then we got there, and then I think... So they had to plan the surgery, because like I said, it was up through my wrist into my brain, so they had to plan it. So I think they had like a gap where they could do it in where it's safe. I don't know. So yeah, they planned that, and the next day, they did that. But it was again, I think because I was on so much like medication and stuff, I just didn't have a clue what was going on. Like, my dad said that when I was going for my surgery, I'm pure waving, like, bye! Like, my dad's standing there going, she's not got a fucking clue, like. So, yeah, like, I literally had no idea what was happening. And then had my surgery and woke up, and just for that full week, I couldn't open my eyes. Like, I was just in so much pain. They ended up having to do a lumbar puncture. So I had so much pressure in my head because of the blood that they had to drain it, basically, out my back. So I went through that. But that was amazing. Like, although it was horrific, it was amazing because it was like someone just released something in my head. As soon as they started to take that fluid out my back, it was like, yeah, just something, it was like the best feeling in the world. I can't explain it. It was so good.
But it was also like horrendous, wasn't it?
Oh, it was so traumatic.
Yeah.
Like, so
obviously
traumatic.
The whole thing's horrendous, but like the lumbar puncture was
Yeah,
horrendous.
it was just awful. Yeah, it was, it's just so much trauma for me. So that happened, and then, I was in the hospital for 2 weeks. And first week couldn't open my eyes, and then it was just hell. Like, I feel like your dignity, everything's taken from you, because I couldn't get out of my bed. Like, I couldn't go to the toilet on my own. I couldn't wash on my own. Like, you can't do anything. It's just you've got no what's the word, like, what word am I looking for? I don't even know.
Not dignity, but like, I don't know, if like not freedom. I know what you mean. Like, there's no privacy.
No privacy. Yeah. That was the biggest thing for me. And then I think it was about after a week, I was able to be wheeled through for a shower. And although it was so horrible, the fact that other people were having to wash me or whatever, it was the best feeling. Like, there's all these little things that have happened to me. When everything's taken away from you, you then appreciate them so much more. So even a shower, I was like, oh my God, like, or see now, like, when I think back, like, I used to look at people just walking up and down the ward going, oh my God, I wish I could do that. Like,
do you still appreciate that now? Like, now, it's one of those things, like, at the time you were like, oh my God, I so much appreciate that shower. Like, and then you think people don't appreciate these things. Do you feel like that even that wears off on you over time? Like, you don't really, not that you're going to sit and appreciate every single shower, but you know what I mean? Like, every shower you're in, like, but like, you know what I mean?
No,
like,
I know what you mean. Obviously it kind of wears off a bit. But it's hard for me sometimes. I'm quite a moaner anyway, you know what I'm like. I love a moan. But it's hard for me because, see, if you catch me on a bad day and I see somebody else moan about something,
Yeah.
that's when that'll kick in. And I'm like, do you not know how lucky you are? Which I don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing, but yeah, like it has made me see things differently. Do you know, I was just going to mention quickly as well, you know, this full experience has completely changed the way I view dying.
Is
Which
it?
is so odd, yeah. See, before, like, if I thought about me dying, like, it would actually give me, like, pure anxiety. Like, I don't know if you've ever thought about that.
That's my worst fear.
Yeah.
So see, when I lie in bed at night and think about it, I get this weird feeling like I'm dropping.
Yeah,
And then I'm like, oh my God, one day I'm going to die.
yeah.
And it gives me like, I feel I'm going to be sick and
Yeah,
everything.
pure sick. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's how I was,
It's
right?
like my worst fear in the world.
But now, I'm so at peace with it.
Are you?
Oh, yeah, like, not if somebody else was to die. See, if, like, a family member or whatever, like, obviously that would pure break me. But, like, me dying, I'm so... See, because what happened and when it all happened, I don't know if it was because of the medication, right? But I was just, like, pure, like, what's going to happen is going to happen. Do you know what I mean? Like, I had no control. You have no control. And... yeah, I don't know, it's just this weird feeling I have. So now when I think about dying, it literally does not bother me.
Oh man.
Like, I'm just like, it's going to happen. You can't control it.
Yeah, but anything I can't control is like, gives me the absolute fear. I'm like, no.
I know, but I'm like that as well, but honestly, maybe you just need to have a brain aneurysm.
Right, that's it. Have a need.
But yeah.
I feel like we've
crazy.
laughed far too much about this brain aneurysm,
Yeah,
by the
no,
way.
it's-
We probably shouldn't be laughing as
it's
much
not
about
funny.
it. It's going to make me look terrible.
Yeah, but you need to, that's how I
We'll do
deal
a wee
with
bit at
it.
the end where I'm crying.
Right, okay. Right, do now.
Both cry. Right, cry.
Honestly, I've done enough crying.
Well, obviously, you were talking about what had happened and like the surgeries and stuff like that. Obviously, we've spoken about it in a lot of detail and went through. You could probably sit for this full hour and talk about everything that happened, like every hospital you went to, the surgeries, like the in betweens, whatever. Like, which would be fine. I mean, you can sit and do that if you want.
Yeah.
But like, what? I don't think MD actually knows what age were you when it happened.
So I was 22.
22 when it happened.
yeah.
So super young. So
Yeah.
what are the? What I know you've got them. What are the statistics? You might want to look at your
got them,
phone.
I don't want to
We're
mess
pretending
it
that we're
up.
both not
I know.
sitting with our phones here. Like, I've obviously got notes and you've got statistics. Those statistics you've remembered.
Yeah. So, actually really scary. And I think as well, see, when I researched these, I think that was after the 2 weeks in hospital. That was when I actually realised how serious this was. I think when I was there, because obviously I was on so much medication, like, I was just a bit like, woo, like, you know, but yeah, not until I left did I realise how scary and dangerous it was. So 25% people die within the first 24 hours of the rupture, which is just like mental. And then those of who survive, it's only about 66% experience some level of permanent neurological damage.
Oh my God.
You know, so I'm like,
Insanely lucky to even be sitting here.
yeah, and to not have anything really like wrong with me, like
Yeah.
it's just like I'm so lucky. It's mental, and because see with a brain aneurysm as well, it's not common in people my age. It's more common in women than men, but it's more common when you're maybe in your like 50s, and onwards. So for me, it was like obviously so unexpected. I was so fit and healthy before, and like I did have some signs, but I never really paid attention to them.
Well, to go back to like you were saying before we go to the signs, because that's a big important part as well. But like before you had the aneurysm, or like before it happened to you, obviously you were young, fit. Like talk about what your lifestyle was like, and also like it happened to you on the gym floor. Just as a side note before we go back to that, it happened to you on the gym floor. Kind of lucky it did happen to you there, because if you'd have been in your car or
At home alone. Yeah.
like you probably would have, or you potentially could have been one of those statistics that didn't survive because
100%.
you were at that place. So it's, I don't know, it's quite, I don't know if lucky is the right word. Like it's
Yeah,
good that you were there.
That's how I feel.
don't like the word
Yeah.
lucky. I don't know, but
Yeah.
you know what I mean. I don't feel like people are lucky, but and you weren't a big gym goer before that, were you? So
No.
it wasn't like you were super like daily gym, like really big into training.
No.
So what was your life like before?
So before all this, I had not long finished getting my degree in dance and drama, and I was teaching for quite a lot of different companies, dance schools, and I'd just opened up my own dance school as well, like literally a few months before it all happened. So I was so busy, I had so much going on, and you know, like I was fit. I'm still fit now, but I was like super fit, healthy, like didn't smoke, didn't really drink, like don't do drugs, like yeah, just pretty fit and healthy, and my life was really busy. And yeah, it was just like completely unexpected, came out of nowhere. What was the other question you said? Sorry, about the
No, I was just saying like
about the gym.
I was just saying like obviously about the gym, like you weren't, not that it really matters, but it kind of matters if we come back to it later on, that you weren't a really big avid gym goer. No. So obviously we'll come back to it, but like you wanting to go back into the gym, like if that happened to somebody on a gym floor, 9 times out of 10 that person is not going back on a gym floor. Right, they're just not going back to that place.
Yeah.
Like it's like somebody, even think of somebody has a car accident, like they probably don't get back in a car for like months. Never mind somebody who has an aneurysm on a gym floor and then 6 months later is like, I'm going to get a PT and go back to the gym. Like, yeah. So like that's pretty mad.
Yeah, I don't know. See, I think for me, such a massive thing in my life, and it is so traumatic. But personally, if I didn't go back to the gym where it happened, then it would just always be an anxiety for me to think about going to the gym, if that makes sense. I feel like I need to go to break the trauma and the anxiety of going, if that makes sense. I want to fight that. I feel like in life is if you leave your problem for ages, it just gets bigger and bigger and bigger. Do you know what I mean? The more I think about the gym, the more I'd be like, oh my God, I'm not going to go. But part of me was just like, I want to go back and I want to fight that trauma. And, you know, like my doctors said to me, like, you really shouldn't be lifting really heavy weights or anything.
Well, you're not. This is going to make me look terrible.
No, not at all. This is all my decision.
We have had a lot of conversations and signed a lot of contracts.
But I don't want to be told that I can't do something that I want to do. And I want to prove to myself that I can do it. Every time I'm in the gym, I shit myself. I'm nervous, I'm anxious, but every time I leave, I'm like, right, I've proved to myself that I can do that. I've done that. Do you know what I mean? And I'm building up my strength every week that I'm going. And another thing, to be honest, in my recovery, I put on weight. I was probably the heaviest I've ever been. I wasn't happy with my body, and I wanted to fix it as quickly as I could. So it was 6 months after my
Yeah, I was going to ask
surgery.
like what the timeline was between like the surgery and then you kind of being, I hate the phrase, back on your feet.
Yeah.
Like
yeah. I would say the first 2 months were horrendous for me. I was just sleeping all the time, like literally all the time, sleeping. And I was on a lot of medication as well, so that really didn't help that. I'd say by like month 3, I was back to maybe going walks and, you know, just eating a bit better and try to better myself. And then 4 and 5, again, increasing my walks, feeling a bit better. And then month 6 was when I came to you and I was like, I need to do this, I need to fight this, I want to look better, I want to feel better inside. So yeah, just a number of things.
So a couple of things there from what you said, like, so finding a trainer because you don't live anywhere near the gym
No,
that I work in. Yeah. So, like, finding a trainer, what was that process like for you, or what was what expectations were you looking for there? Because obviously you're just scrolling through the internet, like looking for a coach.
Yeah, I know. I was careful when I was looking. I needed someone that was going to take time to look into my condition. I needed someone that was super experienced. I needed someone that I knew would really take the time to invest in me. And obviously I came across your Instagram and watched your videos and that, and I felt like you were that person for me. So I came in and we had a chat, and after the chat I decided there, I was like, nah, she does, like, you seemed like you.
I mean, I was absolutely shiting myself.
Yeah, I can imagine. I did think that as well.
Well, we did talk about that when you said, because obviously you came in and you did write on your sheet that had happened to you. So I knew what I was walking into, but I don't really think I don't think I really understood the magnitude of it until, like, we sat and spoke about it, and I was like, right, okay, this is like a lot for me.
Yeah.
So obviously, this is nothing about me, but from my perspective, from like coaching you, because hopefully from this we'll go on and like you say, like, do some more videos maybe in the gym floor of like how we actually train and stuff like that, because it is like important, and it is like good to show people that side of things, that it isn't always about hammering somebody into the ground.
Yeah.
But I think from my perspective, it's quite difficult as a coach to take somebody on and not know what their limits are. You know, and like, I'm used to coaching somebody and they're like, I can't do anymore, and I'm like, well, you can, but like, you just need to push through like that. Whereas with you, it was like a lot more of like, right, we had to come to a lot of agreements, I think, and then that's difficult from your perspective as well, because you're agreeing to stuff that you don't really know that you're agreeing to. So like, so I'm saying we're going to train in reps in reserve, and you're going, like, like, what's that? Yeah, sounds good. like, do you know what I mean? Like, we're not going to train to failure, like, but like, because obviously, like you say, one of the big things when you left the hospital was they were like, you cannot lift heavy weights.
Yeah.
Like, you're not, like, do not go and lift any heavy weights, because obviously that's putting so much pressure. And a big thing with training is, everybody that trains knows that even now that you're training a little bit harder, I mean, we're not going to failure, but we have had sets where you've been like, you know, that's close to that thing.
Yeah.
And I think just to kind of let folk understand how you go about that, like, it's very difficult to go about that in a gym. I think even now, what are we at now, February? We're maybe getting to a point where we're maybe both like understanding
where we can go to. Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Because like, at first you were probably doing like 15 reps in reserve. Because like nowhere near failure, because I was like, I'm not letting this girl go. Like,
well, we needed time, didn't we, to kind of find.
Because it's about building up your confidence into it, to be like, this is fine. You imagine on like the second session you come into the gym and you get like a weird feeling in like your head, you'd be like, So it's like a very slow process. But like I've said to you before, you can, if building muscle is your goal, you can do that without training to failure. It's just going about it in different ways. You know what I mean? But I think it was scary for you to come back to the gym floor. It's scary for me to take you on. I think that it would have been wrong of me not to say that. The first conversation we had, I was like, I'm not going to lie, I'm absolutely shitting myself. I really want to take you on, but I need to think about it, because like, this is like serious, man. Like, you know, if something happened under my watch, I mean, you went into the gym on that day potentially going in for a PT session.
I know, I could have ruined that girl.
And like that, it's all fine and well saying like, you know, I'm sure she would have got, I don't know if I'd ever got over that if something that happened to somebody on my watch. You know, it was going to happen to them, but it happens on your watch. Do you know what I mean?
I know.
So like, and it was a freak thing. It could just happen again. I mean, we're going down a rabbit hole. It's never going to happen again.
Hopefully not.
You're fine.
No, but it's true. Like, there's always going to be that risk there. But I just think the way that we work together is good. It's like you can kind of see when I get to my limits, and I can also feel it inside my head, if that even makes sense. And then we kind of we find the balance, I feel, and
it's
it
definitely
works
like
well.
a lot of trust in the other person. Like, you're heavily trusting me that I can do quite a good job of gauging when somebody's coming close to like failure. and I do a pretty good job of trusting you that you're not going to try and be a hero and be like, I can do 2 more, but taking it a wee bit too far.
Yeah.
And also being like, no, I can do 2 more. Like, don't stop making a thing.
Yeah.
That's quite difficult.
Yeah, it's hard. It's really hard. And it's hard for me as well, see, when you're not there. Because obviously I'll come in and do sessions with you, maybe once or twice a week. And then I'll also come in myself. And then when I'm on my own, I feel like I'm taking all that on and I need to watch. And I feel like, especially when I'm not with you, that's when my anxiety is heightened, you know, and that's when I really need to work on dealing with that. But like I said, every time I come in and then I leave, I'm like, right, that's done. I've done that. Do you know what I mean? And it makes me feel a bit better. But I know obviously we're going to go on and talk about this, but I'm like, well, I've never had anyone that I can look to who have been through the same kind of thing as me, and they go to the gym, and like I've not seen how hard they can push themselves or what their limits are, and I would love to be able to kind of be that someone for someone else. If I can help someone out there to be able to do that, then that would be amazing. Or even just anyone with some sort of brain injury, like if I could just help them and kind of show them that you can do more. I don't know.
Yeah, I think like you say, like it's made you feel like a bit of giving you not a bit of purpose. It's not like you had no purpose before, but do you know what I mean? Like, like
no, it has.
Yeah,
though.
like giving you like a purpose. And like you're really young. Do you know what I mean? Like this could be what you were meant to do. It sounds pure airy fairy. I believe in things like that.
No, I do. Though.
Like,
That's how I feel now. Like I do. I think, I love dancing and I love teaching, but like this has happened to me, and I'm like, I've got a purpose, like to help others now. I'm coming out the other side of it, and I've been through all this shit, and I know how to deal with it. What makes me feel better, you know. And if I can get that out there and show other people these things that I'm doing to make me feel good and help me recover, then, you know, like I'm going to do it. So I feel like there is a purpose for me.
And did you feel that quite early on? Like obviously you had a big period of recovery where you essentially had, and we've spoken about this, like we had nothing to do.
Yeah.
Right, which is again why I think you'd mentioned before, and I don't know if you want to talk about it, like how hyper focused you become on you. Yeah. Because you've got nothing else to think about. Yeah. So like what was that recovery period like for you? Well, obviously shit. But like what and how did it make you fixate on or like focus on?
It was awful. It's like, imagine you've went from going like 100 mile an hour all the time, and then something just stops, and then you're like, right, I can't do anything. All I want to do is sleep or sit and eat. And obviously life still goes on. Everybody, obviously like my family or whatever, they've all supported me so much, but eventually everyone has to go back to work and life goes on, and then you're still in this situation. You're still recovering. You've got months and months to go, or you don't even know. That was the other thing. I didn't even know if I was going to fully recover. You know, it's just like a waiting game. So, yeah, this was really hard for me. And as I think it was probably the first 3 months, I'd say, I was probably at my lowest, because you end up, like you said, you start fixating on yourself. Like, oh, well, I'm not really happy with the way I look, or I'm getting like chunky, and that's another reason obviously why I wanted to get back into exercise and stuff. And yeah, it just made me feel mentally just so low, like I can't do anything to change myself, you know. And that's really hard. I can't just, in the first month or two, like I can't just go out a walk and clear my head, or I'm just stuck in my bed with my own thoughts while I can see everyone else out the window going like about their day, going to the shop, like even going to the shop. Like, not that I'm like a huge person for doing this, but you know, when you've got like a day off or whatever, and you fancy just going for a wee look around the shops. I couldn't even do that.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, it was so frustrating, and yeah, just mentally, that's probably the lowest I've ever felt. Or like, especially for me as well, like Instagram, TikTok, they were quite negative for me, because obviously everybody always shares the best parts of their lives, right? But obviously I've got all this time on my hands, and I'm just scrolling, and it's like, oh, that person's at a dance class, like I want to be doing that. Oh, that person's out for drinks, I want to be, do you know what I mean? It was just like constant for me. And that was so hard.
It's like another confirmation as well, is like, if like you say, like, the world doesn't stop.
It doesn't stop.
And which is, it's just the way it is, isn't it? Like, the world keeps going, but you're just stuck in time.
Yeah.
And everybody else is just like carrying on.
Yeah. And, you know, I wasn't able to drive for, it was about 7 months till I got a car again. Like, even that was so hard for me, having to rely on others driving me about all the time, which for some people might sound quite good, but see, when it's like, that's 7 months of your life, and sometimes you want to just like go on a pointless drive or whatever, and like you're having to rely on someone else, and they might not want to do that. Do you know what I mean? That was hard for me too. So yeah, and actually through that time, especially that first 3 months, I was quite a nervous wreck. Like, I was scared to be on my own. I was scared that maybe if I lifted something, like something would happen. Like, you know, I was just constantly like, if I had a headache, because I was experiencing headaches quite a lot, and if I had a headache, it was like, oh my God, is this something to worry about? Do you know what I mean? Even now, I experience headaches, and I experience quite a lot of vision loss. Like, even the other day I had a bit of a headache, and my whole arm went numb, and I'm like trying not to panic, because this is probably just a migraine or whatever, but because of what's happened to me, there's always going to be an anxiety, you know, with anything that's wrong with me. I'm like, oh my God, I have to calm myself down. So yeah, like that's actually been really difficult for me. I don't know if people really realise that. You know, my surgeon said to my family when I came out of my op, they were like, I think the hardest thing for Tanya is going to be that she looks fine, she looks normal. No one can actually see like the pain and everything that's going on inside. And yeah, definitely, I find that hard. People never, they couldn't see. I would see people even after a month of my surgery, and it's like, oh my God, you look amazing, like kind of thinking that I'm going to be, do you know, like
fucking head bandaged and like
but you know, it was like, that was so hard, like yeah, that was really difficult for me. It still is now, even on like when I have my off days or whatever. Like, obviously people aren't going to look at me and think, oh, she's had brain surgery, do you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's something that, I mean, listening to you talk about it, I've heard you talk about it fucking 1,000 times, but it's not a bad way. Like, obviously, it's all we talk about for good reason. But like, even like every time I talk to you about it, there's something else that like you say that I've never heard you say.
Yeah.
Or like, and every time I hear you talk about it, I'm like, oh, like it still hits you the same as like the first time you hear. Like when I first heard you talk about it, I was like, oh my God. And I feel like even if I hear you talk about it still, I'm like, oh my God. But like, to think of not the person like you should be, right, but think how much of an anxious mess somebody technically should be that's went through that, right? Like somebody that's happened to, you would expect to be like terrified to leave the front door, like constantly, like you say, constantly need to be around folk. Like, I can't imagine how that must feel to have all these things happening to you, feeling wise, like headaches, migraines, loss of vision, whatever, for nobody else around you to go to know what that feels like, and then to be sitting thinking, is that normal? Like, do you know, like if somebody's had like really bad periods or something, and they say to a girl, like, is that normal? And they go, that's normal, it's fine.
Yeah.
Like, you've got nobody to go, like, it's fine, it's normal.
Yeah. to compare myself to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is again why this is a good platform, because you will talk about, obviously you put up that thing on your Instagram finally.
Yeah.
Last weekend,
Louise has been...
spoken about you. I've been on your back for about fucking since the day I knew you, to be like, you should put this on Instagram by the way, and like start talking about it, and you're like, yeah, I really want to do it, I'm really going to do it. Like,
it took
the next
me
week, like, yeah, I'm really going to do it.
at least like 50 attempts, and then with that video I was like, oh, fuck it, just upload it. And I did, and I've had honestly so much support.
So it was like a video of you talking on your Instagram story, just like it was like 30 seconds, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Just you saying what happened to you,
Yeah.
and that you were going to start documenting it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I've had people already reaching out to me who have been through similar situations, and who just want to talk or just want to listen and watch my videos. And yeah, like it's honestly, it's been so nice for me, and I feel like I could really, really help others. And yeah, honestly, it's just all the support and love it's just been so nice for me.
So even that one story has opened up like conversations with complete strangers already into it, and you've already said like it's maybe made you feel a lot better, it's probably made those people feel a lot better, and that's maybe 2 conversations out of how many you could have with people.
Exactly.
Like,
I know.
Like you're saying, it's funny, like it's so contradictory to think how bad social media was for you back when that happened to you, and now how good it is now as a platform.
Yeah.
So it just shows you like how important it is. I mean, this is going to be social media, isn't it? So this is going to be really important, but also how super detrimental it can be to people's health as well. When you're sitting in that position, scrolling through stuff, like already in a hole, but then being like basically just digging yourself further into a hole by like being like, oh my God, the world is actually still turning.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
it's awful.
As much as people are saying like are feeling sorry for you or like hoping you're okay, they're still out there like
and
drinking and
yeah, exactly. And no one actually gets it. And I find that was so hard, and still is really hard for me. Like, as much as someone can try and understand, like for example, my mum, throughout this full thing, she has been right by my side, like seen everything that I've went through, seen all the pain, everything. And although she's seen all that, she still says to me, like, I can't imagine like how you feel. And I'm like, yeah, no one, unless you've actually been through that, and I know obviously everyone's experience will be different, but unless you've had a ruptured brain aneurysm, you do not know the pain that I've experienced, or the hurt, the sadness, everything, the fear, you know, like no one gets it, and that is hard. That is really hard. And if I could even just help someone, you know, feel a bit better and know that there are others out there who know how it feels, then I want to do that, you know.
So, like, what is your purpose? What do you feel like your purpose is going forward to that?
Yeah.
Like to try
100%.
and basically help people feel like they have found somebody that knows what it feels like.
Yeah.
Maybe not specifically like you say, but like knows what, there's a bit of relatability there.
Yeah, like a comfort.
Yeah.
Because when it all happened to me and I was starting to recover, like I was looking up on TikTok and everything, like trying to find someone. And yeah, there were people out there, but no one that kind of had the same age or same kind of goals, same kind of lifestyle. Do you know what I mean? Like I'd love to be able to be that someone for somebody else.
And are you specifically not what you're trying to do, but for you, are you specifically looking for somebody to relate to that this has happened to, or are you specifically trying to find somebody who has done this and has went on to live like a health and fitness style lifestyle, like sort of went back to being like not just living, but like in that sort of realm of like going to the gym and going back to dancing and stuff like that?
Yeah, I want to show you can do that. Because honestly, like when it all happened, I know everyone is different and everyone will have different outcomes. I totally get that. But when I came out of my operation and, I started to kind of see what was damaged or whatever, I couldn't, for the first wee while, couldn't walk properly, so I was in crutches. I'd lost loads of strength in my left leg, and my eyes, they are still damaged, so I just see it's like all pixely all the time, and I get big floaters flying about, which is really annoying. So I had all these things, and I'm going, well, am I ever going to be able to get better? Am I ever going to be able to go to the gym or go dancing again? Or it's like all these things, and over time I worked hard and I pushed myself, and I still am, and I can do those things now. Do you know what I mean? So I want to be able to show people that you can. You need to be patient. Patience is like the key thing to this full thing.
It's funny, like you're talking about like patient, like you're not even a year.
I know.
It's not even a year since it's happened.
Patience.
Like, yeah, you're like, you need to be patient, guys. It's 6 months later, I'm going to the gym.
But like, I couldn't sit there anymore. I couldn't do it. I just, like, do you remember? I think I started coming to the gym, and so I stayed about 20-minute drive from the gym. But to get the train, because I couldn't drive yet.
Oh, yeah.
To get the train, it would take me. Obviously, I had nothing to do anyway.
We used to always make that joke of like, we've got nothing to do anyway. You'd be like, fair enough.
So, like, it took me, an hour and a half to get to the gym.
That's wild.
I'd get 2 trains.
And so then you'd be at the gym for an hour, maybe longer if you did a bit of cardio, but probably an hour, because I don't think we did any cardio at first,
I
did we?
don't think so.
So you'd be like 1, 2, 3, 4 hours.
Yeah.
4 hours of your day gone.
Yeah.
Class.
It's dedication.
I think after a while we're like, going, like, can't wait to get a car, because this is just getting like, this is just,
awful.
I think the novelty wore off quite quickly, that, didn't it? You're like, I quit like getting the 2 trains, and then like 2 weeks later you're like, these fucking trains, man.
Honestly. Well, and then obviously I got my car and I was like, oh my God, like, pure appreciating driving again, like.
I remember the day you drove over. Did you not pick up, was it the same day you picked up your car that you came to the gym? No? Maybe it was like the day after or something.
I think it was the day after.
I remember you driving and being like, I drove over in my car.
So buzzing. I mean, I am like obviously really appreciative of driving and stuff, but I still get road rage and all that. Like,
You're just a moody bastard, but
I'm
you're like, guys, you need to appreciate things in life. You're like, right, in your car.
Oh yeah, that is me, to be fair.
Right, why don't we cover like some of the warning signs, because we said we wanted to, obviously a lot of this is about like obviously talking about it, creating awareness, stuff like that. Like creating awareness is a big thing. I don't really know as much about it as you do, but like I don't know if these are like common warning signs or if they're just were your warning signs. I don't want to come on and be like, this is what to look for and then everybody thinks they're going to have an aneurysm.
Yeah,
Do you know what I mean?
yeah, no.
Like, so I don't know if
uncommon.
this is what happened to you, but might not be specifically what is common for everybody. I don't know.
Yeah, so I've always suffered from migraines, and well, so this is the thing as well. It's hard because I don't know how long I had that aneurysm. I don't know if I was born with it or if it's developed, and that's another scary thing for me. So I've always experienced migraines ever since I was maybe like, I don't know, a teenager. But yeah, so I'd get headaches now and then, and they were quite bad headaches. And then 2 weeks before everything happened, I was actually teaching a class full of kids, a dance class. And luckily my mum was there doing admin for me. And I felt fine. And then suddenly I just, like, I can't even explain it, but I couldn't see. Like, I could not see the kids. Like, it was weird. It was like I could make out the room. I knew where things were, but it was like bits of my vision were just not there. And I remember kind of freaking out a wee bit, and I was like, well, maybe it's just a migraine, because like your vision, I don't know if you've had a migraine, but a lot of people's vision, like, it does kind of go a bit weird. So I was like, oh, maybe it's just that. So anyway, I ended up cancelling my classes, sent kids home, and went home and I just felt a wee bit funny, but I was fine. I ended up, I think, I was totally fine. And then after that, I noticed that the right side of my face was a bit numb. But it wasn't numb enough for me to be worried. It just didn't feel right when I was touching it. But I'm quite a dramatic person anyway, and I'm always told I am. So I was like, oh, it's probably nothing. Like, I'm probably imagining it. So that was kind of there. And then, I actually think that was the only...
So nothing, like,
one
super
time.
out of the ordinary that, like... Obviously, that is quite out of the ordinary.
Yeah,
You
it's
would have,
a bit
like, a
odd.
little bit, like, a numb face.
But the
like,
fact that I have migraines, like... Do you know what I mean?
yeah,
It
like,
wasn't...
so common.
I actually forgot to mention as well, I don't know if I said, but when I did have the aneurysm burst and I was in the gym, I forgot to say when I woke up or whatever, it was actually because I'd had a 10-minute seizure.
Yeah, you did. You
Did I
did
say
tell me
that?
that, aye.
I don't know if I said it in here.
Oh, you didn't say it in here, sorry.
Did I
thought you
not?
meant you'd ever... I was like, you told me that.
Yeah.
I was like, no, I don't. You didn't say it in
No,
this,
I thought I'd just add that in. Just because I said I woke up and people were probably like, what, did you just faint?
No,
But
you were like 10 minutes, you were having a seizure.
yeah, But yeah, so they were the only warning signs, and I'm pretty sure the doctor said to me that could have just been like a really, really small bleed or something, because that can happen before it bursts. But I felt fine that full 2 weeks, and then...
Did you ever ask them? I mean, you probably maybe wouldn't have, because it wouldn't have been on your mind. Like, had you have went to them when that had happened, would they have? Well, who knows? Because they would say like, "Oh yeah, we would have done something like they did something about it," but they wouldn't have. But like, would you have just been dismissed as like we've got a migraine?
Yeah, it's probably.
Yeah,
I mean,
which
I
is
don't wanna
maybe
say-
not their fault. I
No,
don't know if
it's
there's anything
not.
you can do about that.
I think because it's so rare for someone my age to experience what I've experienced, I don't think they would have really looked into it, you know. But I don't know. I can't.
knows? I know.
Yeah, I
And
can't say.
nobody
But
could say.
probably because I experienced migraines anyway, they probably would have just said that's probably just something like that. But it's scary, so don't ignore signs.
Yeah, I know it's hard, isn't it? It's
Yeah.
like that you don't want to put the fear of God into folk by saying, you know, if you're getting migraines, like, you know, that is the point of this isn't to like scaremonger
No,
people
not
and be
at all.
like, this is probably what's going to happen to you, because it probably isn't.
Yeah.
I mean, statistically, you must be like an absolute rarity.
Yeah.
Obviously, to have survived it, but be so young to have had it.
Mm-hmm.
But I suppose it is about, you know, I don't think enough people, if something is happening to them, I think as a culture we're very dismissive of stuff anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I know I am. Like, if
Yeah, I'll
something
just
doesn't
get on
feel
with it.
right, I'll be like, I'll just go on with it. It's
Yeah.
just my personality, and be like, just go on with it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you know, like your foot's in agony and you can't walk, like, just go on with it.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, so maybe go and actually see somebody about it just to get confirm, even if it's not going to go anywhere, just to maybe put your mind at ease.
Yeah.
Right, should we conclude?
Yeah.
Okay. So,
I mean, unless there's anything else, I don't know if we've... Obviously,
well,
I could go off.
We could go off on a million tangents, and from the notes that I'm going to pretend we don't have, but we obviously
Yeah, we
clearly
do.
do have, we've covered everything that we wanted to talk about,
Yeah.
I think. But what we did want to, what I wanted to finish with was just asking you, like, what the next 5-10 years you think that this is such a ridiculous question, because you've just said this whole podcast about how your whole life is uncertainty of like
Yeah.
you don't know what tomorrow's going to
could
be
be
like.
dead.
Yeah, fucking hell. Right, all right. Not on my watch. Like, what does the next 5 or 10 years look like for you? Like, and also, well, let me ask the question first, right? I kind of did ask this earlier on. Why go back to work? Why go back to do it? Like, if that had happened to somebody, it would be so easy for that person to just be like, I'm not doing anything. You could easily just be on benefits. You could easily not go back to work. You know, you could live that life of like, not really fear, but just like
Defeat.
why should I go and like burst my arse in a job? Why should I go and burst my arse in a gym or go back to whatever? Like, I could just live a life of like, take it easy.
Yeah.
Why not just do that?
Because I think when something like this happens, and like I said, you go from 100 mile an hour and then to nothing, and everything's taken away from you. You want everything back. And I feel like for me, that's all I've wanted. I just want to go back to normal. I'm like constantly chasing normal. And yeah, you kind of realise like life is too short. Like we're so fragile. I don't think people actually realise like how fragile we actually are. And yeah, I just want to live my life, and I want to make the most of it, because like you actually, like you said, you don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. So yeah, I think that's probably it for me.
Because think of the lifestyle you could lead, having that thought process. You could lead a lifestyle of like, you don't know what's going to happen tomorrow, so I'm just going to do whatever I want.
Yeah.
You know, like for instance, you come to me and saying you want to lose weight, which is ridiculous, right? But anyway,
just a wee little bit.
You come to saying you want to lose weight, and then putting yourself in a position where maybe like you're doing a little bit of a diet or whatever, like people that happened to be like, I'm a fuck dieting man, like get me a Domino's. Like,
don't get me wrong, it's hard.
Yeah, I know. Like, but like, we won't go into that. We'll pretend you're a really good client. Perfect. But like, people would be like, you know, I'm going to the pub, or like, I'm doing whatever I want. Not like, you know, you're back at work, like you're back working again. Obviously not full time, but you're back dancing, teaching. Yeah. You're doing this. You're got stuff in the pipeline that you don't want to talk about. Yeah. In case somebody steals it. Like, yeah, you could just be a lazy bastard.
I could. Yeah. But I've been a lazy bastard for 6 months.
And you didn't like it?
I don't like it. Do you know, it's funny, like people, I know it's different because obviously I've been recovering, but I think people, when they hear like, oh, you're going to be off for 6-7 months or whatever, like they'd be like, oh, that sounds class. It's not. It's boring. Unless I was like a millionaire and I could go away and like, I don't know, go on holiday and do all this fun stuff, like it's not good. Like you get bored quickly, and like I said, you watch everyone else like doing all their stuff, and you start to just get a bit of, I need a purpose, I need to do something. And that's what I need. I really need that. I need to know, like even this, like going to the gym, changing the way my body looks and everything, these are all goals for me, and like keep me motivated. I need to constantly be motivated, because I couldn't do it before. You know, like I was gaining weight, and yeah, obviously like I could eat maybe a bit better or whatever, but like at that time, like that's all I can really do is eat and watch the telly. Do you know what I mean? But like, I can change that now, so I'm going to do it, and I'm going to feel good about myself. Yeah. So yeah. Nice. Thanks.
So what do you think the next 5-10 years looks like? Obviously taking into account that you don't actually know. Yeah. But like,
I don't know. I just want to be able to look back at what's happened and just be like super proud of myself, and like see that I've came from something so horrific and I've completely changed my life around, probably made it better than what it was before, you know, and also be able to help others. Like that is like my goal now. I want to be able to help other people who are going through the same kind of thing as me, because I never had that, and I honestly think like it would be so good to be able to do. So yeah, I don't really know what else my life's going to look like, but hopefully it's good.
Good. That'll be good. I've got high hopes for you.
Good. I'm glad.
Would you be quite happy to, like, for people to have, like, your, like, to attach your Instagram handle onto this, to, like, to contact you? Because obviously off the back 100%. Of your video, you've had people contact you and, like, reach out to you about, like, maybe that happened to them or somebody that they knew. Yeah. Yeah, 100%. So you'd be quite happy for people.
Yeah, I'm always there to talk. If anyone needs to talk, like... Yeah, because I would have loved that. So, yeah, if anyone wants to reach out, then they can. Because I think we'll probably put this Instagram... I'll probably put some on TikTok, although I'm not very good on TikTok. I feel like I need to learn.
I don't have it. I should really get it, but I really don't want to waste my time on it. I should probably get it.
Well, I think you've got a YouTube. Put it on. Yeah. You've got a YouTube
We'll put it on YouTube, Instagram,
Yeah.
All the social media handles.
Yeah. And then, like you said before, we'll probably, hopefully, do some more kind of videos gym-wise and...
Yeah, I think we'll definitely, like, do a little, not series, but, like, a series of videos where we go over, like, how we train on the gym floor. We can maybe even ask people on social media, like, what they would want us to cover and stuff like that. So, because, it's very different to how... And I suppose, you know, there's not really going to be that many people out there that need to train that way or need to know that information, but it's always good to know there is a way that to train, or maybe somebody who has super high anxiety or somebody, like, you know, like, might not be directly related to what happened to you, but that they might want that advice as well, that not everything, you know, the internet's full of, like you said the other day, like, the internet's full of videos that basically tells you if you're not trained to failure, you're not going to build any muscle.
Annoying.
So your, like, main fear is always, like, can I build muscle if I'm not trained to failure? Like, you ask that question every week, like, will I build muscle if I don't train to failure? Because it is so... Even I say it, like, you know, if you're not trained to failure, you know, you're not going to build any muscle. It's a lie.
Yeah.
You know, you can. If you're not trained to failure, it's a total lie, but that's coach's way of saying, you know, like, stopping early, you lazy bastard. Do you know what I mean?
That's so frustrating for me. And I think that's quite good as well, having you to kind of, you know, bring me back down and be like, no, you can, you know. It's, I think Instagram and TikTok and all that, it can be quite toxic. You know, if you're in a certain situation like I was, it can be really toxic. Yeah. So...
Now my Instagram's going to be full of, don't need to train to failure.
I know.
Me going against everything I've ever told everybody. Raging.
Your clients will be like, yeah.
My clients will be like, what? You've been telling me for years I need to train to failure. Cool. Lovely.
Yeah.
We caught.
I think so. Yeah. Thanks.
Pretend that we're not just going to have this conversation again and, like, next time I see you.
Yeah.
That's been good.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah, nice one.